Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been
The right wing right now is going gangbusters trying to convince America that Donald Trump gives a single shit about the life, the legacy, the death of Charlie Kirk. In fact, Jimmy Kimmel, the thing that he said that was so offensive to MAGA world had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death. It had to do with how Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about his death. Hey, how are you doing? My condolences to the loss of your friend. How are you holding up? Yeah, I think pretty well. Did you see the trucks? I got the construction thing going on. We're doing the ballroom. Fantastic ballroom. Lots of gold. It's going to be great. I love ballrooms, he says. That's why. And look, if it wasn't clear from that and every other response you've seen him give, this clip should just lay bare that Donald Trump does not, never did, does not now, and never will care about the death of his dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Yesterday, an interview was posted on Fox News between Donald Trump and Martha MacCallum. When did soft folk, and it's not even soft folk, when did blurry camera work become cool? What is going on? I have a monitor here that shows me to make sure that I'm in focus at all times, because that's how cameras work. Not with Fox News, apparently. Not with their female anchors, and not with Donald Trump, who's so desperately insecure that he needs to also be the Carrie Lake treatment in his clips. But in this clip, that was a digression. In this clip, Donald Trump just lets you know, I don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk, because Martha MacCallum is asking the question. She's saying, listen, Charlie Kirk said there was no such thing as hate speech. He was a free speech warrior. All that's not true. He did say that, but he also lived a different way by targeting professors and having them harassed and stalked and threatened by his Turning Point USA idiots. So that's not true. But Donald Trump's response is, yeah, he's probably not saying that now. What? He might not be saying that now. Do you think? I can agree. I can agree. Watch this. I'll play just the offending moment, and then later we'll play the full clip so you can hear his insane, batshit crazy, rambling, demented answer. First, though, Charlie Kirk's not saying that now.
Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been.
Imagine this. Imagine this. If Jimmy Kimmel, instead of saying that they're trying to score political points using the death of Charlie Kirk as a weapon, that's paraphrasing what he said. But instead of saying that, the thing he actually said, what if he had said, Charlie Kirk might not be saying that now? The right wing would be losing their minds. They would be apoplectic over the fact that the legacy of Charlie Kirk, the life of Charlie Kirk was being made light of, that his death was being mocked. But when the dear leader says it, dismisses it, it's A-okay. So let's do what we do here on this program. I want you to focus on what the question was from Martha MacCallum, and then what Donald Trump's absolutely inexplicable answer was, the full width and breadth of it. So she asks, keep it in mind. So do you have concerns that some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech? Do you have any concerns that people are going to think this is a crackdown on free speech? That's the question. And what will follow will confuse you.
No one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been in favor of free speech. Yeah, so do you have concerns about, some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech?
It's interesting. I watch your show and I watch others, and I see people saying things, they're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics, even the way they'll answer. You know, it's like you'll see them, and the things they say are really bad, but they look crazy. They're almost crazed. Maybe they're drugged out, maybe there's some other problem, but the kind of things you hear, actually you probably don't put most of them on, but the kind of things you hear are so unbelievable. You wouldn't think, you're a very regular person. I am too. I'm a regular person. Who would make the statements that they make?
Make that make sense. What did our human apostrophe of a president, what is this? Is this vital masculine posture? This is their guy. This is their dear leader, the unassailable macho man, Donald Trump, who can't even sit straight. Fantastic. But did you hear that answer? Do you have concerns that this crackdown will be looked at as a crackdown on free speech? Yeah, it's interesting. I watch your show. I watch others. I see other people saying things. They're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics. Even the way they'll answer, it's like you'll see them and the things they are really bad, but they look crazy. They're almost crazed. Maybe they're drugged out. Maybe there's some other problem, but the kind of things you hear, it's actually, you probably don't put most of them on. The kind of things you hear are so unbelievable. You wouldn't think, you're a very regular person. I am too. I'm a very regular person who would make the statements they make. What in the fuck is he talking about? We're in danger, and not just from the violations of the United States Constitution, the assault on our individual personal liberties, not even just that. The fact that we have a lunatic, speaking of lunatics, as president of the United States. We have someone whose brain is malfunctioning. It's like he's having a series of mini strokes, major strokes in the semblance of in the time frame of just this answer. And they're celebrating. This is leadership. This makes total sense. Of course, he answered the question. He did not answer the question. And I'm sure, and by the way, that was after charitable editing on the part of Fox News. Imagine what was left on the cutting room floor, what kind of drivel and nonsense and confusing dementia that was foisted upon Martha MacCallum. Unbelievable. I wish it were unbelievable. I wish. Unfortunately, this is the reality that we have to contend with. The usurpation of our constitutional rights as citizens. Not only if you're a liberal, only if you're a Democrat, only if you have leftist attitudes about how to run the country, only then. If you're a conservative, you're a Republican, you're free to spew vile hate speech, use invectives and racial slurs. It's encouraged even. It's a badge of honor for you. But if you make jokes about the dear leader, his fatness, his stupidness, his lack of health acuity even, then you're at risk. They're coming for us next. Eventually it's going to get down to those who don't have a YouTube channel. But if you made comments about Donald Trump on Facebook or if you're still on the Nazi Twitter or if you're over on Blue Sky, they're coming for you too. I mean, even Fallon, who hosted Donald Trump and tousled his hair. Even Jimmy Fallon, who appears to be some kind of an ass-kissing quisling for Donald Trump. Even he is still being targeted. You can't save yourself. ABC paid out $15 million. They're still being targeted by Donald Trump. Come on. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching it, be that on Facebook or on YouTube. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I got one ask. Make sure you're subscribed. It is free to subscribe. It's free to go over on Facebook if you're on Facebook and like and follow the Dollemore Daily page over there. I would appreciate it very much. There's links to all that stuff below. Please support independent media. Let me tell you, we are under threat. Who knows for how much longer I'm even going to be able to have a channel. Who knows when the geniuses, the suits at Google and YouTube decide, ooh, this is too hot for business. We can't do this. We need to start silencing people to appease Donald Trump. I don't know. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I will see you next time for as long as I can. Be genuine and take care of one another.